In the past half-decade, there's been a real youth movement that's formed and risen into the Cup Series. Smacked right into the middle of this movement is William Byron. Byron is a driver that is hard to classify when it comes to overall success. He has had plenty of twists and turns in his career that have made him into one of the more recognizable names in the Cup Series. So, how has his career been so far? Well, let's go back to the start. If you keep up with any NASCAR memes or have listened to any broadcast on NBC that Byron has been on, then you know where we're going with this.
Coming over the front stretch, the first time he's ever been to Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Will he be able to hold him off? William Byron wins at Indy, whose racing career started on a computer.
Yeah, the computer guy. But in all seriousness, Byron's path into the Cup Series at this point is partly due to iRacing. Racing was where Byron honed his skills in racing, and he raced hundreds of times, winning over 100 of them. By the time he was 15, sites like Vice, Jalopnik, and even iRacing themselves were writing about him. This promoted him up even more as he started racing legend cars. By the time that he was 17, he was racing in the K&N East and West Series, and the East Series was where he saw the most success in 2015. He won 4 races that were alongside 5 top 5s and 11 top 10s, and he led 740 of the 1,729 laps, along with a 6.8 average finish. His 740 laps led also meant that he had led just under 43% of the laps that he was on track. He was absolutely dominant and proved that he was ready to move up the ranks. So in 2016, with a truck provided by Kyle Busch Motorsports, Byron truly was beginning to showcase his talent. By the time the Truck Series playoffs had started, Byron had set a blistering pace on the field, scoring 5 wins in 16 races. And his opening to the playoffs was even more dominant than that, as he led 161 of the 175 laps at New Hampshire. When he wasn't dominating, he was still consistent. So at Phoenix, after leading over 100 laps, it seemed like he was going to cruise to a Final 4 spot. But due to a heartbreaking engine loss, he would have to settle for battling for 5th in points. And it was made even more bittersweet by his 7th win of 2016 in the finale at Miami. He would have won the championship. Still, 7 wins moved him on again, moving up to the Xfinity Series, and he would switch camps from Toyota to Chevrolet, racing for JR Motorsports. With the added competition, Byron wasn't as dominant as his Truck Series days, but he was still an elite driver. 3 wins in the regular season, and it looked like he was a favorite to win the title. And a year after his heartbreaking loss at Phoenix, he would return to the track and win, and lock himself into the Final 4 of the Xfinity Series for 2017. And like his 2016 Homestead truck race, he had enough to beat the other Final 4 drivers, and he would win the 2017 Xfinity Series championship. It would be enough to move him up to the number 24 car in the NASCAR Cup Series, and this is where Byron's career in NASCAR would start to dry up when it came to success. Even being paired with championship-winning crew chief Darian Grubb, Byron's steep learning curve proved to be a bit too much. In his first 20 races, he only scored 1 top 10, and while he had 3 more in 2018, it was only enough for him to muster up a 23rd place points finish. Because of the struggles, massive changes were needed. Byron's teammate and 7-time champion Jimmie Johnson was coming off the absolute worst season of his career. With this, Johnson's longtime crew chief Chad Canales would be reassigned to work with and mentor the young driver. 2019 started much like 2018 did for Byron, as he again struggled with only 1 top 10 in the first 10 races, putting him 19th in points. But the season began to pick up at Dover, where he finished 8th, and then after stringing together 3 more top 10s, he was 12th in points before Daytona, where he would score his best career Cup finish to date, 2nd. This put him 58 points above the cut line, a gap that he was able to protect, and helped him qualify into his first playoff appearance. And he actually made a little hay in the playoffs, making it to the round of 12. If it wasn't for him blowing an engine at Homestead, he more than likely would have had a top 10 points finish that year as well. But because of the engine, he would have to settle for 11th. Looking towards 2020, it would seem like Byron was ready to take the next big jump and become a true championship contender. But instead, he would actually take a step down in performance. After 25 races so far, he's scored 1 top 5 and 8 top 10s, and he's the final driver at the moment that is in the playoffs, by only 4 points though over his teammate Jimmy Johnson. So, as we approach this final regular season race, we have to ask why he's sort of tapered off in the Cup Series. I think to start with, you have to look at Chevrolet and Hendrick Motorsports. Both have been running lower than they are really expected to run, and it's shown with Byron. Also, Byron's age and somewhat lack of experience may be a main factor as well, as aside from Kyle Busch, drivers this young really don't start winning right away. And finally, it might also be the new package from 2019 and 2020 at the intermediates, just maybe it doesn't suit his style. Overall, he may take longer than expected to do it, but I think that Byron has the potential to become a winner and championship contender down the road. But that's all I have to say about William Byron's career. But what does William Byron have to say about his career? Well, to find that out, watch the NASCAR Weekly podcast tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on Eric Estep's channel. We'll be premiering our interview with Byron, and then maybe you can find out more about him. But until then, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And while you're at it, leave a like on this video and subscribe to my channel for more great NASCAR content. And until next time, have a good one.